You know what I miss? I miss the Ceda Nully blog.
Yeah?
He shut the whole thing down. There were so many good posts like how to hit on retarded girls.
I would read that.
It was so horrible, but it was hilariously funny. It's just like there's that look in their eye, and I can feel a tightness in my pants. It's just like, oh my god. He shut that all the fuck down. It's all locked away.
Man, why are all the good blogs gone?
They really are. I remember in 2013 there were so many good weird ass blogs. There's this one called Conic Soul, I think. I can't remember. It was pretty interesting. The most important thing I thought Koenig ever said, maybe because I'm only 22 now, but I was young then, was that
2013.
The cosmic sniper war thing. It's like, oh shit, that was such a revelation. Like, yeah, of course, there's super advanced alien civilizations are going to not say anything and keep themselves hidden because this universe isn't a joke, and the fact that everyone's sending signals everywhere is probably dumb as hell.
Well, that would describe us. I never caught that, the sniper war thing, but you're right, that is downright profound.
It was called Life Teams on 1,000 Stars. So
yeah, I remember that title. I remember reading that and stuff about like black goo or whatever, just like
So I guess that's a alien reference, or maybe Prometheus.
Could be. I haven't seen either one. I should probably see Alien at least. The
first one. A lot of people really like Alien 2 because of the action and all. And I saw it and I was just thoroughly disappointed. The only thing I remember is game over, man, game over. What's somebody calling?
I don't know.
Okay, never mind. I just heard the Skype whoop whoop. So
it was
you know, that would be an interesting podcast, but it's probably best.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Oh shit. Okay. And I'm proper melon mood right now. I'm sipping on my red wine. It's a very good year. Looks like a 2019. The Yellowtail Big Bold Red. Oh, it's the big bottle.
It's a 1993 Opus X Rothschild.
That's right. That's all I drink.
You spend $20,000 a month on your wine.
Yep. You can actually taste the baby blood that they like drip into it. It's very diluted, but it's, you pick it up.
I believe it. Hell, I got one of those damn Rothschild cigars.
Did you?
Yeah, I smoked it during one of our podcasts. It's pretty good. It was not amazing.
You should have smoked it during the eclipse.
Oh shit! That's the eclipse was weird enough. Honestly, I was listening to weird music, and it was. I didn't think it'd affect me, but I don't know, man. The light got all fucking. It wasn't just less bright. I don't know. It was It was unusual.
Yeah, we didn't get a ton of it up here, but the dimness had a dreamlike quality to it. That's the only way of putting it. Yeah. Because no, it was more than that. It actually feels apocalyptic. Like if you could recreate that with a filter, a video filter, that would be a great way to shoot a movie that feels just very foreboding.
The Instagram apocalypse filter for all you edge boys.
All right. Let me know when we're getting ready to start because I want to ask you about tobacco cold demons. That's the 33rd degree of tobacco cold.
Oh, no.
That's when you really learn the truth. Introduction for the podcast.
Yes. Just,
it's your boy Bobby. We doing a podcast.
Oh fuck! It's your boy Bobby.
Yo, your boy Bobby here, nigga. Do what you gotta do. Fuck me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this night's broadcast of the Mercury Theater. This is your host, Orson Welles, with co-host Aoli Para. We're being pretentious tonight, and we're never pretentious, so it's a change of pace. It's something new, it's something interesting, and it's dopamine, new, exciting, completely, and the audio quality is bearable, which is also new, ladies and gentlemen. So out of 10, I give the Papa John's double cheese pepperoni pizza a 9.5, ladies and gentlemen, out of 10.
Oh.
And
wow. That's incredible.
Start to the podcast. We're here. We're talking. We're drinking. No smoking this time, but hey. It's the first time for everything.
So hang on. You aren't smoking. Why is that? Is there some sort of horrible, dangerous thing involved in smoking?
Oh, heavens, no. In fact, it's the healthiest thing any lad could do.
As for me, I'm breaking my 2-week drought to have a fine red wine. What was it? A Rothschild Opus?
It's an Opus X. It's a 1994 vintage. It's it's personally signed by Robert Mondavi.
Yes.
All the trappings.
And 94, if you recall, was the exact date that they wrote the Neanderthal stuff into Chrono Trigger. So there's probably a synchronicity there.
Yes.
All right, I want to talk about the tobacco demons.
Okay, tobacco demons. Well, I suppose a tobacco demon is a subtype. Okay, there are two meanings for that. So one tobacco demon could be from the weird-ass dreams you get from tobacco, which is certainly a real thing. In fact, I have some McResearch. It's right here. So,
is this in the chat, the Discord?
Yeah, I just need to fucking
find
it.
You actually have a ton of stuff in here that I missed. I'm seeing that now. The last I saw was that 0 HP Lovecraft one, which is going to be a post by the end of tonight.
Oh, okay. I'll just read the quote. No, I won't read the quote. But anyway, there's actual mixed studies. Average 43.9% reduction in depression in depressed patients who were given 17.5 milligrams transdermal nicotine patches.
Is that a lot?
That sounds like a lot. I don't know. But in any case, nicotine actually increases REM sleep, so that explains the crazy dreams. And, they say that depressed people have less REM sleep, and that's why they say your dreams are dying. Because your dreams are literally dying. You have them less when you're depressed.
Okay, I can vouch for that. Except when you're there are times when you'll be picking back up, and then your dreams will start kicking in, and those will be weird.
Yeah.
So there might be a crossover there with the nicotine causing you to go into that sort of phase of things, where your energy's picking back up. But it also says blue light seems to help. That sounds bad.
Yeah, that's just Faceberg's tweet. I don't trust that.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's one way you could say tobacco demon, but that's not a real tobacco demon. A real tobacco demon is a subset. It's a type of dopamine demon. So you can imagine that anything that gives you pleasure in these unusual states of mind, it can perhaps build a personality of itself, right? And it can start commandeering.
So we're talking, any kind of addiction, any sort of vice that evil can use to get a hold of you, which, that's exactly what dopamine does. It trains you in behavior.
Yes. It grows neurons. It does everything.
So anything that can become potentially your one thing, in the term. We'll say if it has the potential to become an idol of some kind, something that you would do everything else to get to. So let's say you're on meth, right?
Yes.
Then you're all the other ethics go out the window. The only ethic is more meth. Then that becomes I mean, you talk to anybody that's had an addiction like that, they'll call that their demon.
Mm-hmm.
And who's to say that's not entirely metaphorical?
Right, and it gets more complicated because these things, depending on how they're formed and what they hijack in your brain, they're going to have their own personalities. They're going to do these other things, and basically you're talking about sort of a self-replicating, mimetic, pleasure-seeking demon that can have its own personality living in your head, and people. So the question of whether or not demons are real, well, I think it's self-evident that at least dopamine demons are real. And that's not even factoring in, we could talk about the id, and we could talk about the pleasure principle, the collective unconscious, the shadow. And I think,
I would like to talk about the collective unconscious on one of those, because the others are kind of obvious.
Right. They build into it, and in some parts they are these things. It's just, a collection. It's the amorphized collection of dopamine demons and just the potentiality for dopamine demons and the structure itself.
So we're talking about like that over-socialization type of thing, because that, I assume, is dopamine driven. I assume that is talking the same way as that Data Packrat article. It's in my sidebar. It's it's got flaws, but the overall idea is pretty good.
Well,
says that.
That's an interesting idea because it would connotate. I think that's what it would mean that perhaps what we really mean when we say that somebody's agreeable is that they actually get more dopamine out of agreeable behaviors, and it could be that simple. It's not necessarily anything else.
So when the vote comes up, you'll vote in favor of Kaczynski and monarchy? I don't know what Lizard King's up to with his politics these days, but a month ago it was Kaczynski and monarchy. Now I think he's a black man.
I have no opinion. Well, I'm sure I do, but I don't even know how to respond to it. It's more what I mean.
Yeah, I never do either with that dude. I like him. I just don't. It's very difficult to tell when he's being serious, and he'll tell you like he doesn't know either.
Okay, this is the actual podcast, though, so if that's fine,
yeah.
Okay. But that's fine. He's not going to mind that. No one would. But if you're going to say anything about anybody, I'll edit it out, right? But it's probably best not.
Okay. Well, I have this whole list of bants, but we'll just save that for after.
Wieners, yeah.
Excuse me. This is a posh podcast.
Yes, we're supposed to be
wine.
High status now.
Right. So we're talking about serious research, not just Mick research, but also Applebee's research.
Right. No nigger, no Jew, no fuck you kike, no kill. We're real now.
Yes. And I want to talk about Roger Stone.
Oh, my Roger. What have they done to you?
Are you doing okay? Have you guys been exchanging letters?
Well, I see you've noticed I've been drinking. And it's hit me harder than I thought it would. I knew this day was coming, and I don't know what to say. It's just that I'm sure Roger will find it within himself and his infinite talents to get out of the situation and return to living a perfect life that he's always lived.
But you always fall for these bad boys, is what it is.
Oh, I know. I can't learn my lesson.
So, any idea what actually happened with that? I'm kind of curious. Or do we?
What actually?
Let me ask
happened?
first. We want to talk any politics stuff.
We should probably get it out of the way.
Okay.
I won't be too mean.
I think Bezos was a hit job.
Bezos? Oh, the divorce?
Uh-huh.
Huh. Why?
There's too much money at stake for me not to assume that. Like, let's imagine that you're one person or another in the deep state. You've got your agendas, right? Well, you have these pictures from what's her face's phone or something. It's like here I am sucking Jeff Bezos' dick, and like you can send that to his wife, and then it's over. It's like, how many people had that opportunity? That's what I think.
But he's still worth so damn much money, and he's got all the defense contracts, blah blah blah. He's got so much leverage, So there is the possibility, which we mentioned last time, which we didn't record, and that's unfortunate, but last time talked about the possibility that this divorce is a way of him keeping an absurd amount of money, in the same way that Richard Scrushy did with the failing of Health South.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that now, with the divorce and then the settlement, and then the settlement went to some kind of tax-free thing.
Yeah, well, they're ordered. Of course, they ordered Scrushy to sell these amount of stocks to pay for the divorce, and then his wife went and bought $13 million mansion in Florida, and under Florida law, that's untouchable. So let's see where
they're still living together or something.
Yeah, there's something like that. But anyway, yeah, because he got the house.
That's a pretty amicable divorce, right there.
Oh yeah, it was completely manufactured. And we'll see if that's what happens. We'll see if Bezos buys a giant house in Florida or maybe Key West. We'll see what goes on.
That kind of money, he's getting an island.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but basically, just keep an eye out for that shit, because that's another possibility. That's pretty much it. He's got so much money and so much information that if he wanted to stop the divorce and it's a real divorce, he could, unless obviously there's factors unknown, but.
Yeah, but you're right about the information thing, because people always think of Google being the one with everybody's information, which is probably as true. But with Amazon, they've got your buying profile. They probably bought your customer profile from the same people that Google sells to.
In fact, they know what I want. They're so good. It's ridiculous how good they are at predicting what I want to buy. It's like, this is exactly what I wanted, Amazon. Fuck. I'm an animal. I'm a prostitute.
But yeah, you add that, I'm sure, politicians are old people, right? But there are going to be enough of them that they got that consumer history. That's valuable information.
Yeah. And specifically, there's the defense contracts, which people don't realize that most of the information of the so-called deep state is actually held on the Amazon servers. So
I did not realize that.
That is an insane amount of leverage. That's like more leverage than very few other people on the planet.
That's like Eric Schmidt acting as a... Shit, I gotta remember what that story was. So, somebody sent me an article about Julian Assange writing about his meeting with Eric Schmidt and realizing over time that he was just a back channel for deep state operations, basically acting like a private secretary of state, like going to other countries and causing regime changes and stuff. That was pretty nuts.
Yeah, that's fuck Google. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows fuck Google.
Yeah, everybody knows that much. I don't think everybody knows that about Amazon yet.
Yeah, a big part is that they're just so damn good at what they do.
Oh no.
I hate to say it, they're so good. I got my shit like the next day. I put this big ass order in for movies and stuff. And by the way, guys, movies coming, movie reviews. Ooh.
Oh yeah. When do we get to start doing that, or is that going to be a True Anorexia Radio thing?
Yeah. Oh, I'll plug my. So Fight Failure may still. Yeah, sure. I'll still read some books, put some stuff up on that. But I'm living in water, you could say, and water being primordial chaos, complete freedom of thought, and just moving through everything I don't want to get too weird with these analogies and whatnot, but you get the idea. So, it's sort of a time for learning, a time for looking through art, and if I'm not necessarily able to express myself in these ways that Aioli is able to watch Apocalypse Now and then, make the good posts. When is Apocalypse Now post number 2 coming, bro? I'll stop. I'll shut the hell up.
Tomorrow, definitely. Okay. It's hard, all right?
Yeah.
It is actually hard to write that shit.
It seriously might be that I watch all these movies and I can't write a single fucking thing about them, and then I just send the really good ones to you and you do your thing.
That wouldn't be the work.
Okay, we're having a little.
Oh, right.
It dropped out. It dropped out for like 5 seconds, but it's back. Skype. Okay, but yeah, that it wouldn't be the worst thing. You're right about that, but I try to actually fucking write something that's not just cold cut, just cut and dry.
Yeah, I get you. It's hard, but it gets easier with practice. Actually, have you tried doing just like little bits daily? I should give you a bunch of. Maybe I should do like a whole bit here on like tips for people trying to do creative stuff. What do you think? Or do you want to go in a different direction?
Oh, you can do a thing, and I can get another drink. I'll still be here, but
Yes. I'll give myself a little bit more wine too. First, I'm going to say for Bone Flower, who will know about this by the time this podcast comes out anyway. I quit for 2 weeks, but this is a concession. I'm having 2 glasses of wine, and I think that's downright okay.
Yep. I'm having 8 shots of never mind.
And then I'm going to quit. And then we're going to have a serious talk about him having 8 shots. Not every time we talk, but often enough.
Shit, I seriously, it's the only time I ever drink. But yeah, it always goes to excess, I'll admit that.
All right. So speaking of creativity, alcohol is actually not good for it, in my experience. What is good for it is being healthy. So you hear about people training for like when they're writing a book or something. But if you just want to do it all casual, like I would recommend doing a little bit every day, because that trains your brain into thinking about stuff, on a sort of a daily basis, like that you would like to write down later or draw later or whatever your medium is. Keep notes of ideas as you go throughout the day, because something that happens that's both good and bad is that sometimes the creativity will take over your brain. So like when you start thinking about an idea that you want to flesh out later, you can't concentrate on other stuff as well, which is really not job. Then let it take over your brain. That's the only way to be able to get that done, and then also have a life, because you get exhausted eventually, and then you can take care of your normal stuff like eating and sleeping. But for most people, if you're just doing it as a hobby, just take notes of stuff that you want to flesh out later. And that's a great way to build up outlines and stuff, because that inspiration is nice. It's a lot more pure than when you actually set yourself to write an outline from scratch, because it's not inspired that way. But those notes that you put down during the day, that's good shit. So every writer you'll ever talk to who does it serious is going to have a little notebook that they keep, or what I do is I keep it on a Google Sheet. So I always have it on my phone. And then later you can turn that into the real thing just by, you just take that seed. That seed is usually enough that you can write around it, but the one idea is in there, and that's enough to inspire you, because all you really need is that reference point. The trouble people run into, MM and I were talking about this before we got on the
Shit.
For math.
Hey, wait. It's breaking up like hell. So it stopped at me and him were talking at before, then it cut out.
Okay, so we were talking before about how you can sit, like you can watch a movie or something and have like these great ideas about what it actually means and how you're going to analyze it, and then you sit down and write something and it's just blank, it's gone. The way to get around that, aside from keeping taking notes in the meantime, which you don't always want to do, but sometimes it's the only way. The way to get around that is practice. Like, just practice with the mechanical process of putting your thoughts in order, the process of taking your thoughts in your head and putting them on paper. Anybody who's ever taken like a math class or a physics class will kind of understand this, because if you're smart, you can listen to a physics lecture and understand it, right? You follow all the ideas, you follow all the math, then they put a problem in front of you and you're like, I have no idea where to start. And what people don't realize is how much of a mechanical task something like math or physics or writing actually is. Like how much of the skill itself is like contained in your fingers and doesn't translate easily. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you get, like, I've had experiences one way or the other in a very similar subject. So with something called proof by induction in math, I picked that up instantly. First time I heard it, and I was able to do it on paper instantly. But it took me like 2 years to figure out cardinality, which is they're about the same level of abstraction. So it was just one thing happened to click and the other didn't. And I, to this day, would not be able to do it would take me a while. I'd probably have to do this review to figure out how to do any kind of proof about.
Fuck.
Are we cutting out again?
It cut out at proof about.
Oh, okay. That's fine. What I'm getting at there is that, like, actually getting your thoughts on paper is hard, and it's because it's mechanical, and it takes a type of focus that if you don't practice it, you're not used to. Like, there's an actual mindset that you have to get into, and it's not the normal mindset of your brain. Like when you're doing things and when you're thinking about things.
Right. It's gorilla mindset.
That's exactly right. It's luxuriantly gorilloid tree stump. I don't want to do all the memes right now. But yeah, if you're going to do physics problems, you have to actually practice writing out problems more often than you would think, just to get used to the idea of, like, understanding how to start them. It's really kind of bizarre, like how easy it gets, but you have to overcome that barrier, and you have to, like, practice it too, because. And then there's another barrier too, because you can have exercises that you do where you're just, filling in, like, as the book tells you to do things. But then there's an entirely different level when you want to do, say, a physics problem, the sort of problem that wasn't in the book, just something that you're interested in, right? You want to take a system and describe it and then solve for some variable based on the other ones. If you don't do that sort of creative mathematical problem solving on a regular basis, it's nearly impossible to do it the first time. So there is a whole lot of this that is actually just mechanical, in the same way that, like, taking apart an engine is mechanical. If you put somebody that's never done that in front of an engine and tell them to do it, they might be able to do it based on just, their head understanding the thing, but actually a lot of your knowledge, and I would say the better part of your knowledge, is contained in your fingers. More in your head, more in your gut. I think we don't really understand how much of your understanding of the world is in, like, your, I don't know what the words for these things are, but like your somatic. It's like the way that your body interacts with knowledge. So I guess what I'm getting at there is practice. I could have just said that really quick. That's why you got to do that. That's what I was going to recommend to you that you do. shit posts. Although I understand that you have a much higher threshold for disgust than I do. Like, I don't mind putting out shit. I think you probably mind that a lot more. And I don't have any advice for that kind of thing.
Oh, higher threshold. Well, maybe in some ways, but my sense of humor can certainly go to levels that yours, you just say, that's disgusting, that's not funny.
Yeah, that's true. And also, I think that you do better with like the meme type of irony than I do. Like just because I don't really follow that kind of stuff, so I don't get what's right. Like the ugly memes, those aren't funny to me.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely, I am Gen Z, so some of that stuff in the book applies to me, It's cutting out. Fuck you, Skype. Fuck you. Okay.
You gotta figure out whose side that's on. It's probably me.
Yeah, because my internet connection's really good here.
Alright. I'll fix my side. Talk about something. I don't know.
I'll say really quickly that tobacco helps, and I haven't been smoking very much tobacco at all. Although I've had a bad habit I've smoked a couple pack of cigarettes this week, but done. I will not smoke anymore. If I, go back to smoking fine tobacco, so bad, just because I can't control myself, then, that is what it is. But I'm not going to smoke any damn cigarettes. It's just not acceptable. But I'm looking into wholesaling, like buying wholesale Perdomo minis, because you can get 100 of them for $57, and I'll just give them, to somebody, and they'll give me them bit by bit, and I'll, have enough, right, to not just be in agony, but not enough that I can just sit there and smoke. And I'll say this real quick for people. I was kind of serious in the tobacco cult post. Like, a pipe it's really good, and it's also really bad because you can take the butts from cigars and smoke for hours and hours, like 6 hours. If you were to cannibalize a cigar, you'd have enough smoking for like a whole day of smoking in a pipe. So pipe is you'd say it's a game changer, but it's also, much more carcinogenic and nasty and all that. So not willing to do that. I did that for a while last year, probably like 6 months of pipe smoking. That's a lot of content was created basically because of the constant pipe smoking, just to be honest. It really helps to read books when you're super focused from smoking a pipe all day while reading on your back porch. It's pretty awesome. But
yeah, I was gonna say, like, the feeling of tobacco I didn't understand until Christmas. I did some smoking. It's really nice.
Yeah, we should reveal that you're actually going to come visit in March.
Okay. But we are going to call it Telfest because
yes, Thalfest 2019. It's going to happen, bros.
Already happening.
Mm-hmm.
Has already happened if you were a proper melon boon. Like,
I had a dream, so I already know what's going to happen.
Is anyone slain? Can I relax?
No, we went to the projects when we burned down a bunch of houses, but I don't think anyone actually died. I think they got out in time. Okay, well that's good. I wouldn't want to announce that we're going to murder people in the podcast. Hang on, I'm gonna switch over to the other internet. I'll be right back. Do 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 do. Do. Oh, you're back.
Yeah, that took longer than I was expecting.
Okay, we probably should do the Trump next, relatively quickly. So,
what do you do? Are we talking about the wall?
You should
shut down.
You should say what you want to say, because I might have a hard time not saying exactly what I think.
I'll say what I wrote out to somebody on the Skypes when he was asking me. I actually should have posted this, and I might still. Somebody asked me about the stuff you said in the podcast about Epstein Island and stuff. So he said, you know anything more about this? So I sent him that video with Jake Morphonius and Blackstone Intelligence.
All right.
Okay, so talking about it, I said, I think it's controversial to assume Trump has a problem with sexual immorality in general, but probably not pedophilia. You know, he likes big boobs.
That sounds like
it's uncontroversial to assume that he tolerated a lot of the sorts of sexual immoralities, even if he didn't personally engage in them. So he was probably aware of a lot of shit. You know, just because this was his crowd. Like, he grew up. I won't say that this was their idea of normal.
Many of the women on the Epstein Island worked at Mar-a-Lago.
What is Mar-a-Lago?
Mar-a-Lago is Trump's club and private estate in Florida, which is right next to Jeffrey Epstein's house.
Okay, so so he had, we'll say, an intimate connection with the employment process of these young women. All right. So I was basically saying to this guy, like, the question is not whether or not he came from a Zionist, Freemason, a sexual degenerate, upper class background. It's a question of whether he had a change of heart at some point. And I think there are two pieces of evidence that stick out that could support that interpretation. The important one is the breakfast where he said that Hillary, like, I think it's called a Rome or something, where he's saying, like, Hillary says it takes a village to raise a child. She should know. She's taken several of them. So that's where he's saying, he's diverging from the plan. And I remember your interpretation of that is like he's shooting above his pay grade.
Well, let me quickly say that I remember the fight between Obama and Hillary. I remember how nasty that got, and it was not any less nasty than Trump versus Hillary. So to say that, Trump wouldn't be willing to do this because they're on the same side, well, that's just for people, frankly, who have not followed politics since fourth grade, like I have been obsessed with it since. And, I'm not going to talk myself up, but if there's anything I fucking know, it's politics. So there you go.
Oh, it was the Al Smith charity dinner is the one I was talking about.
Yes, that was interesting. I'll admit that. That was quite a fun little dinner.
The other thing, oddly, is I think he's genetically like a Puritan. In the sense, because he eats his steaks with ketchup, well done, doesn't drink. Right. I don't think that those are normal things to do in his milieu. So I think he's a bit iconoclastic. No, that's not that is the right word. He's a bit iconoclastic for his social class. And I think that maybe he started to feel emotionally distant from them as he got older. And that could be that could be fertile ground for somebody deciding to do things differently. Now you could say either he didn't have a change of heart, or he did, but it's not the sort that would be beneficial for the American people. But if you were going to make a case that he was, I think you could base it on the fact that his tastes in terms of like his bodily tastes, aside from being a sexual degenerate, which I think is, when he says that he's like an alcoholic when you put a pretty woman in front of him, I don't think he's kidding about that. Like, he's joking because that's high status, but he's also being serious and being like, yeah, this is like an actual addiction for me. Okay, I'll read off the thing I said really quick when I was putting out the whole thing. Trump was born with a very high IQ and a genetic predisposition to psychopathic narcissism. He was raised as a psychosexually normal alpha male with Freemasonry as his childhood religion and a psychopathic elite class of billionaire Zionists with morals so loose as to be practically non-existent. We're running drugs and wife swapping are more normal than an 8-to-5 job. In the course of this, he absorbed the extreme tolerance for deviant behavior, but was something of a prude himself. For example, for refusing to drink, accepting the one outsized vice of indulging his sexual appetite past the boundary of what I'd consider predatory. So, as is talked about in the Morphonius video, he became accustomed to being pals with guys like Bill Clinton because that's what normal is in that milieu. And in fact, this profile suggests his religiosity, as expressed within Zionist Freemasonry, would have been relatively high. So I think he believed in that shit he was taught when he was younger. Now, granted, he's also an alpha male, so he's not going to get spurgy obsessed with it. But I think he would be, in a different situation, the sort of person who would go to church every Sunday. Preference to eat steaks well done with ketchup alone suggests strongly held idiosyncratic tastes and the suite of behaviors which Eysenck describes as psychoticism. So we have a man who's genetically a Puritan, raised within a religion and social milieu of extreme self-indulgence. So regarding the change for potential of heart, here's how it would have looked if it actually happened. He would have become disenchanted with the tastes of the ruling class as he got older and more set in his ways, and he would have begun to question their direction of the nation and the dangers this would pose to his real estate empire and legacy. But he would not have become disenchanted with the Zionist religion, and I don't think we see any evidence that he actually has. On the contrary, there's plenty of evidence to suggest his Zionism is still sincere. But he understands that the fate of Israel is bound up with the fate of America, and that treating America like a $5 whore is a disastrous policy for Israel's continued existence. So we have multiple lines of interest suggesting a fertile ground for a change of heart. One, high religiosity in that Freemasonry, where the long game of Zionism, properly understood, is like Stephen Miller's thing, or like Vox says about how Zionism is bad for the Jews. Like imperialist Zionism, particularly. Two, an increasingly puritanical personal life, dividing him from his social class, his milieu. And three, high IQ foresight producing anxiety about the direction of America, which, for better or worse, he's probably interested in staying here, as opposed to a lot of the more transient billionaires. All right, so that is eventually going to be a post.
All right. Well,
so who's to say? I was definitely way wrong about him before, so I want to.
No, I think you had it. I think you kind of had it right. The only thing you had wrong was that he was stupid.
Yeah, I was very wrong about that.
But look, maybe he eats his ketchup. Eats his steak with ketchup, and maybe you can say that means something about his proclivities. But as far as I'm concerned, he said many things. Many of these things that are based in the positive are from what he said, and he's someone who lies like breathing. It just comes naturally to him to bullshit. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to know. Fuck, who knows if he doesn't drink, to be honest. Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't know, but I believe it, but shit, I don't know if he owns a fucking winery, but basically, I don't give a fuck what he says. I look at what he's done, and what he has done is bullshit. It's just bullshit. It is encapsulated simply in the question, what would be different if Jeb Bush was president?
Talked about his presidency. Yeah, that is a really good question, because you can't just look, like, there's a lot of stuff that you can say he's won on, right? The problem is it's not the stuff that we care about, which is the wall. It's always been the wall.
Right.
And I know that it's popular to say that now, but like, how can I say that I've, like, you can't just say, like, I've always said from the beginning, because it's not exactly true, but the problem is that he's not winning on things that matter.
Yeah.
And that's not a good sign, because it either means that he's not competent to actually do things that matter, or it means that he could be doing those things as distractions, which would be the worst case, because that means he's still a controlled opposition like the rest of them.
Right. Well, my view of Trump is ultimately as someone who's a controlled opposition person, who's also happens to be an extremely narcissistic person, and he wants to win 2020. He very much wants to win 2020. But say what you're about to say.
Wasn't it your interpretation that he is shooting for more power than would normally be granted to him within his social class? Like he's rebelling in the sense that he thinks he deserves more. And that would be the explanation given for, like, why the media reacted to him the way that they did, for example.
Well, I think that they reacted to him the perfect way, don't you?
You mean in order to...
What did they do to every single person that's happened beforehand? What did they do to Ross Perot? What did they do to Ron Paul? They didn't... They ignored them as much as possible. And, of course, this does not apply to BuzzFeed and the myriad of alt-left publications that need the clicks and blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to the Hearst-owned media, and people don't realize the power that William Randolph Hearst's empire still has on the media, even to this day, 20% of ABC is owned by Hearst, for one example. You know, they're the ones who just killed the Bryan Singer story, that pedophile. Before it got out, you know, but anyway, they kill it. They don't run stories on you. If they want to kill you, they don't talk about you. So, and they know that they're not that stupid. Yeah, the news people are, but the people who run this, if they were actually afraid of Trump being president. Two things. Number one, shut the fuck up about Trump. They understand that. They very much understand that. Number two.
So you're saying more he would get John F. Kennedy?
That's the other. That's number two. Number two is if they were afraid he'd get JFK like that. Like so fucking fast. You wouldn't believe it.
I think if that were going to happen, they would wait until he was at like a minimum of public support. Because if they had done that right after he'd been elected...
No, they would have done that at the beginning before he was even winner of the primary.
You're talking when he was a danger in the primary, but
right when he was talking all the good shit, you know.
I gotcha.
Back when Mexico was going to pay for the wall, back when Mexicans are rapists, back when we're going to have a Muslim ban, back when we're going to have E-Verify, which is more important than any fucking wall, back when he had a dozen things that we can't even imagine talking about now out in the open of the fucking media.
I think the wall is more important. On account of it's a concrete thing that you can point to. So it might be worth like spurging out about why that's important.
Oh, I get it. I think everyone gets it. But if you want to, you know, I'm not going to stop you. It'd be a good point, I guess. I'm kind of toasted, by the way. I'll say, just so people realize, I'm pretty toasted right now.
Already?
Yeah.
How many shots you had?
7. It's not that bad. Oh, quickly I'll say I'm about to have a shot, and this is the thing I was talking about that I did not mention. Is a shot of 61% alcohol, pure lemon extract.
What does that taste like?
Oh, it's indescribable, really. I actually like it, but it's fucking weird.
Is it intense?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, that's just a sip. I'll have to sip it. Ooh. Woo!
Can't.
I love it. Oh, there's something so good about it, though.
So it's lemon extract, which is already intense,
Yes.
and then it's fermented.
Well, it's 61% alcohol. I don't know if it's from. I got it from Pinsey Spices. It was only $5 for this 2-ounce bottle. So anyway, it's very interesting. It's really not bad. The reason I got it ostensibly was because that lemon is very anti-estrogenic. So that's why.
Oh, okay. So the 8th shot is based.
Oh, yeah. Drinking pure lemon extract like a fucking freak is based and red pilled.
All right.
But don't do the vanilla. It's too expensive. Although vanilla is probably even better for you because it actually is one of the only things that can directly lower cortisol levels. I took a shot of vanilla earlier and it felt pretty. I feel pretty good now. Anyway, you say what you were going to say. I'm drinking lemon.
I don't know if I should. Your thing was more interesting. I didn't know you could take a shot of vanilla and
God,
get rid of all your cortisol.
Oh. I'll have to save some of this. Maybe give it to you.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We're drinking lemon extract, boys.
All right. So, wallow is a concrete symbol, right?
Yes.
The point of the thing is that you can actually do something in the American interest, right?
Right.
I think Steve Saylor's made that point the best of all. But the point of it is that it's not abstract. It's something that everybody can understand. So it's not just that it's symbolic, right? You can have symbols that aren't worth a shit. Like you could build the Donald Trump memorial where it's a bigger, I think it was a Family Guy joke where it's big, like a bigger, no, it's Futurama. It's just a bigger tower than the Washington Memorial. It's like, he's got a bigger dick. But, like, what would that symbolize? It would just symbolize winning, right? The wall symbolizes that the American people are more important. That it's better to have borders than not. And it's not just that. It's like saying that you can actually do things in the interest of Americans who are already here and against the interests of people who wanted to come in.
I don't.
In a language that everybody understands and which costs a lot of money.
Well, I don't disagree in any way, and I agree. I think there should be a fucking wall, and I think that it's mostly symbolic, and it's fine. But at the same time, I'm aware and have looked at these statistics in other ways, and the fact of the matter is that under Trump, illegal border crossings are now the highest they've been in 20 fucking years. Nobody's talking about this. The actual things.
That DACA for wall is bad trade.
It's a horrible trade. It's going to be $3.5 million. It's going to be shit. It's going to turn Texas blue. It's going to turn, I just really. I get it. I ultimately get what's going on, right? People use ideology as this pseudo-religion because they're fighting a war and they want to be secure, right? You're on this side, and people who are not in this ideological camp are your enemies, and it's a form of strength and unity and all this, right? The thing is, my ultimate belief is to live in reality, and the reality is that the fucking border crossing is the highest they've ever been. And what do the Trump people say to that? They say you're being defeatist. They say have faith. Have faith? What the fuck? Is this a religion? It's the psychology of it. It's the psychology of it. I understand.
People who have not had. People have given up religion in this country because nobody goes. Like you're supposed to have spirituality but not religion, and then you see in Generation Z they don't have spirituality either. So we basically not got religion. But what does Rene Girard say about that? Right? It comes out somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I agree. That's I guess what I'm trying to say is that. And it's also sports. It's entertainment. It's sports, it's everything. Politics are now the national pastime. But, I'm about getting things done, and things aren't getting done. I've spent very little time on politics recently, and all I have to say, really the only thing it's of value to me is to watch how people react to this capitulation. You shut down the government and then you open it up, and it's extremely weak and everybody sees it, and there's just absolutely no reason in any sense to do it, right? So you watch and you see how people react, and it's an enormously valuable test for seeing who is and is not capable of accepting reality. And the people who, it's not like I'm super mad at the people who won't, right? I understand you have to feel a certain sense of security, and I'm a very unusual person. I'll admit that. I'm capable of living in meaninglessness and demonic hatred greater than almost anyone. Like it's just this weird thing I have. You can say that's Mel and Boone. You can say whatever you want to say about that.
I was going to make a joke about that.
Yeah.
Living in your mountain redoubt.
Right. But it doesn't even get to me that much, and it's not psychopathy or sociopathy. It's just there's just some sort of, I guess, race memory of like, I get that feeling of inu and meaninglessness, and it's just sort of par for the course. So that's about it. But it really, it's good to see who falls back on confirmation bias, who makes ridiculous excuses, and it's not like I hate those people, although the people who take it really, really far, I'll admit I do hate, because they're basically animals at that point. Just to be honest, I'm being completely honest. But the people who are within human realms, like a Vox Day, I'm not going to hate them because they're not accepting reality, but I'm not going to listen to them. They're not worth listening to. These are people who don't, they're not living in reality.
I got a question about it. Does that mean the government shutdown is over?
No, it's supposed to be over, and it'll return in 3 weeks, and then for some reason it'll be different this time. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know how that kind of thing works.
And all the momentum from Covington, like
chess narratives. I don't. Yeah. I don't understand the government bureaucracy shit. I really don't.
Like, everybody was so charged from Covington, and then he did this shit, and then it's all gone. It was basically Kavanaugh level energy, probably greater than Kavanaugh, and it's all gone. So, like, okay, I expected Trump to cave on this, because you know how I am in my opinion of him. Mm-hmm. And I have to say this so that maybe there's some people who haven't heard. I was the biggest Donald Trump supporter. Literally. Fucking loved this guy. As soon as he came down the escalator, I was on board. Before anybody else. Literally. People thought I was crazy as fuck. And so if anybody out there thinks I'm a hater or thinks that I'm this or that, fuck you. You're so wrong. I believed in this guy. I was with him the moment, and I loved every second of it until about 2 days after he was elected presidency, and then I was like, okay.
until the morning after? Is that
pretty much? And then by February of 2017, it was getting kind of obvious that things aren't going to be. But I was still hopeful. It was only about 3 or 4 months ago that I was finally like, I'm just done. But anyway, so don't get mad at me and call me lack of faith, call me traitor, think of all this other shit, because, bro, I remember what the guy said at the beginning, and it's not the same guy, it's not the same stuff, it's just, there you go. We're not even living on the same planet of the Overton window anymore. What the fuck were we talking about?
I was just trying to think about that.
I'm ranting. That is exactly what I was trying not to do. Fuck.
If maybe you drink more, you can get rid of your inhibitions to not rant. No way.
Who would have thought alcohol would lower inhibitions and make you rant about things you feel very strongly about?
I have never heard of that. I just sip red wine and think about how I'm better than other people.
Is there
That's the best part
anything
of
else
having a varietal.
is there anything else to think about, really, when it comes down to it?
Well, I suppose my servants haven't been up to snuff lately.
That's true.
It's hard to find good help.
Indeed.
But that's only like 5%. I can manage. 95% I spend on thinking about how I'm just this dilettante who can do anything I put my mind to, but I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
I'd recommend growing a parietal to anybody.
It's pretty good.
Makes movies way better. I don't even watch anime that much anymore.
Oh no, we're going like in opposite directions. I'm gonna turn to what you were, and you're gonna turn to what I am, and it's just gonna be weird. Because I got a bunch of anime. I got the Technolize. Technolize will fuck your shit up. That's the quote. And I'm just waiting. Next week, I'll watch at least some next week. I plan on binging it. And I probably won't be able to understand any of it. I mean, not in the way of able to write it, but yeah.
I like a challenge.
Oh, it sounds perfect for you. Like, absolutely, just...
I do need to get around to it, but I've got so much shit going on. Yeah. I'm just so busy with all of my moving and shaking with my melon boom.
Yeah. We should say one more thing, or move from the Trump thing to something else, but just looking at it from a practical, non-emotional way, why do you do this? Right? Why do you shut down the government and all this? And it seems to me that it's like, you fight enough to show, and I think that's what he thought. He was going to fight enough to get reelected,
Oh, I get you.
But he
was actually playing exactly what the Republicans have been doing for so long, and thought, like, the Democrats are going to act the way that Republican voters usually do.
Yeah, and I think he's fucking wrong. I don't think he gets reelected. Not unless, like I said to you, unless he starts a war, which is certainly a possibility with either Venezuela or Iran. Or
you didn't tell me that was why he would start a war.
Well, it's not exactly.
That he might start a war in Venezuela.
It's not exactly why, but it's a commiserate goal, because presidents who start wars get reelected. That's just sort of how it goes, and. Well,
so he doesn't have the necessary psychological characteristics to do that sort of thing. Do you think people would do it?
Hell yeah. The Democrats would immediately see 20% improvement as their opinion of him. That's the biggest, it's not the biggest red pill at all. It's the big red pill, though, that there's nothing that the news media, the Democrat establishment, the Republican establishment love more than a fucking war. And
they identify as journalists, right? Right. Embedded journalists, even if they aren't.
Mm-hmm. But you'd see glowing news articles if Trump started a war. People think, they'd destroy him. No, they'd eat it up. They'd love him.
Is that the Hearst thing, or is that just
that's
character thing?
I don't know what that is, but that's just the way it is.
That would be interesting to analyze then, because we're talking about a matter of values, right?
Right. Maybe the media people are just that nasty that I think a big part of it is literally the excitement, because, to be in the journalist world, you are pushing yourself, trying to break stories, doing all this shit. You're addicted to dopamine and all this other crap. And what's more exciting than a fucking war? So in some ways, they're happy for that, almost consciously.
This makes a lot of sense, because you can imagine, like, we all know, because we're based in Red Pill, that Jews and journalists in particular are women, right?
Yeah.
If you think of them as a sort of race of women, or a job, what do you call it? Career of women.
Yeah.
Then they make a lot more sense when you think of them that way. And women love a conqueror, a warrior, just somebody that makes other people hurt in other countries. They love that shit. So it could well just be a bad boy thing. Because, it's not like they're hyper-rational people. And that's the opposite definition that I've always used for the left versus the right? You have hypercritical people on the right. Maybe could stand to be a bit more critical, but we're talking within human limits here. And hypocritical people on the left. And because, it's generally more of a feminine, I dare say even virtue, but that's not quite right. It's a feminine trait to be hypocritical. And yeah, they love them some bad boys. And they will write all kinds of glowing things about them. Maybe even the day after they say, like, this guy is the worst. And just not even notice the contradiction.
Yeah. We have to take a quick break. I have to go to the bathroom.
Make sure you point your mic directly at the bathroom, or else it won't be an Ailey Para style podcast.
Oh, no. No more lemon, but we're still drinking.
I'm reading. It's alcohol of the mind,
Oh,
intellectual and posh. You should see me. I'm wearing a collared shirt and a sweater over it. I'm just killing it right now. Yeah, you're probably wearing like a t-shirt or some.
It's a nice t-shirt.
Young person shit.
I'm wearing a nice black leather jacket. Chad as fuck.
Yeah, the sweater probably costs more than your car.
Oh, well, that's all that matters.
Oh, it's funny because it's true.
Yeah. Let's see. So, somebody actually did read this thing.
What thing? What are we talking about?
The Best of Zero HP Lovecraft. Yeah, so I've got 4 views. Huh.
What, did you post that on Anorexia?
Yeah, so... I mean, that's so pathetic, but still, like, nobody even got the link at all, so... Anyway.
Well, it's an interesting blog. Shit, I've got, like... I've got to update my sidebar.
Oh, yeah. You could get rid of Fight Failure and put Ataraxia in its place or something.
I would keep Fight Failure up there. You are too hard on that shit.
Yeah,
what is your deal?
I was reading through
black pilling.
I was reading through it the other day, and I was like, oh wow, this Fight Failure blog is pretty good. Wonder who wrote it.
Got probably some Uber Chad.
Yeah, I honestly
just winning all the time.
I don't read my own stuff enough, to be honest. Like, there's so much good stuff. Not lying at all. There's like a whole trove of really good information on it. It's almost like too much. I admit, that was the whole point of Guto. And, it sort of just made it worse because it was made in a format that nobody really liked. So, but...
I think it needs small tweaks. That's what Patrick said about me in terms of, like, being all posh and shit. That's actually why he has me watching fancy videos now, like the real reason, which turns out I enjoy quite a bit. But he basically said, like, people would listen to you if you stopped phrasing everything as My Little Pony analogies.
You got to do blockheads. Everything's a blockheads.
Yeah, dude, I have like 2 more of those written, and it's been 5 weeks or some shit. That's not right. I'll tell you what. If I ever did anything good in life, it was blockheads, and I need to get back on that.
Blockheads makes me want to do crystal meth. It's so good.
That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me. White power monster. No, wait, what is it? White power drink.
Yes.
White power crystals.
It's white. It's definitely white power. Blockheads is white power.
Oh no. Oh, but it's true though. I can't escape it. I just realize my destiny.
There's just so much plot, and I don't want Circle and Square to be enemies, but it's like it's just going to have to happen for the plot to move forward. And I understand it, but I'm going to cry when it happens.
Oh, Don't worry, everybody. It's going to be very Black Pill at first, but the whole it's a comedy in long form.
Okay.
It's going to be all. No, I can't spoil nothing.
Yeah, don't no, really don't. Like, I haven't. This is like reading some manga, bro. This is.
Also, the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me. Your shit is anime. And as Boneflower always tells us, anime is real. He has some good sayings. I think my favorite one is, if your plan requires people to act in ways that people don't act, it's a bad plan.
Yeah.
There you go. You don't even need to read that whole book about socialism by Solzhenitsyn. You just need Boneflower.
Oh, that Jordan B. Peterson book, The Gulag Archipelago?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, that Jordan wrote it.
They just needed to clean their rooms. They didn't need all that collectivism.
But I collect a lot of things.
But you need to organize them and have them in perfect order. Otherwise, you get the Nazis.
But that's too much order. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, that's pathological order. That's the tyrannical patriarch.
I can collect things, but if they're too orderly, it's okay. I get it.
So you want your Pokemon cards in like alphabetical order, but you can have some chaos in there because that's very important. It's otherwise it's stagnant. So put them in alphabetical order, but then let them get tossed around a little bit.
The end of history expressed through my collection of Pokemon cards. That's a good blog.
Do kids have Pokemon cards these days? You're a young person.
Oh, I have so many Pokemon cards. No, people don't have Pokemon cards.
Oh, that's right. People have Fortnite dances now. I saw a kid do that in a restaurant, like in a steakhouse.
No. Was it a floss or what was it?
It was in the corner of my eye. I don't think it was a floss, but it was something bizarre like that. And my girlfriend had to explain to me what was happening. Because I'm this tech boomer over here going like, is that child dancing by himself, like after dinner? What's going on here? She said, yeah, they have these video game dances now. They just do it at random times. It was kind of bizarre. But the nice thing is we were at a steakhouse because I'm high status.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway from the story.
That is good. We can go to... Oh, when you come here, like, I don't want to like spoil you or anything, but we're gonna go to the best fucking restaurants of Birmingham. It's gonna be dank as shit.
Food City.
It's half an excuse for me to go to these places, but yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
I am okay with offering you that excuse.
Yeah, we can go shoot guns. I'm still thinking of. You should probably tell me some things you might want to do, but we'll go to Lake Martin. We'll go to we'll eat a bunch of good food, shoot off some guns. Do a podcast too. Now.
Yeah, we should do a podcast.
Live podcast.
Live drinking.
Yes, real life drinking. It'll be a whole new level of nautism.
I'll tell you what I've told other people in the past because I practice now. What I like is not doing too much stuff, doing some stuff, so that's important. But also my favorite hobby is walking. So if we can get some of that in, I'm cool. Yeah, we do some walking, we do some nothing, and we do some stuff. I'm happy. So do it, a third of each, maybe. Not like a third walking. I mean, that's a lot of walking. But.
Yeah, I don't want to dox myself, but there's some really nice parks. There's 11 acres on this bitch, so that's probably enough. But it's not so good
probably
terrain.
Probably nice out there too. That's in March. There aren't those dog-sized mosquitoes out there at that time.
Yeah, some asshole cut down a bunch of trees back in the woods. I don't want to get into that. Just so he could have a better view. He was a black guy, wasn't a hillbilly. But fuck that guy. We were gonna sue him, but he's gonna pay for the trees to get replaced. No. Yeah, you don't do that shit. You don't do that shit.
That's weird. Oh, this is Melon Moon problems. All you proles out there, you probably don't even own trees. or blacks.
Oh no. That's what I should have said to him.
No, we can't joke about that though. This is serious time.
This is super serious.
See, the way to be posh nowadays is to pretend that you don't have like Hispanics cutting your lawn. Or no, I don't actually understand. I don't think I have enough contact with people in the proper upper class to understand what they like, the way that they virtue signal now. All I know is from that Paul Fussell book, which, by the way, I recommend to every Spurg. I actually have it here on my desk. And the reason for that recommendation is not because of what the actual knowledge in it, but because of the way of thinking that it teaches you. It teaches you to notice things way better. This book and Steve Saylor will teach you how to notice shit. That's good. You can't learn that from Mises, I'll tell you that. Just there's a way of paying attention that Spurgs are not used to, where you're just making associations between. It's because we're not primed to pick up associations about status. Like what kind of stuff do I want to dress in? If I want people to think that I'm a rich person, or whatever the values of the society are. Autistic people tend to pick up weird value systems and then dress according to those. So they're going to be wearing like the Pokemon jacket.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like they're going to dress as Ash Ketchum and be like, "This is the proper expression of our values," and people think, "No, that's your values."
Yeah, the highest in the status hierarchy based on the kids' television show.
Yeah. Or like they'll pick some weird fringe value system like tree stumpism, for example. Be like, yeah, the most. I'm going to dress according to this value system. I'm going to display all the symbols of this thing. Like, yeah, I don't think you get how this works. Or if you're like me, just wear black all the time, like black t-shirt and jeans, just trying not to be noticed. That also doesn't work, by the way. Although it's not a bad way to go. It's just not good. That's the way I put it.
Yeah. Like
being iconoclastic is not the correct answer, because you got a signal, but you got to learn what the correct signal is for you, and how to talk to people with the way you do things. That turns out to be kind of hard, but not impossible. I think I could maybe figure out a way to write a book about it someday. Which I'll do once we have generation autonomous kill drones with the eugenic correcting factor.
Right, you gotta write the Edenism book first.
Oh shit, yeah. Okay, after generation autonomous kill drones with the eugenic correcting factor, and then introduction to Edenism 101, tree stumping and you. Or how I stopped hating and learned to love the vault, something like that.
Learn to love the melon boon, because that's what you need to be, plebs.
That's true. You do need to be more like us with our insane parietal lobes and our symbolic intelligence, which gives us dreams that you wouldn't understand.
Mm-hmm. Where do I go to buy Cyborganize? I want Cyborganize so bad.
I don't know if he's going to sell it. I'm actually curious about that part myself. So he said it's on GitHub, but he doesn't have any documentation out, because documentation is super hard. GitHub
Cyborganize. Cyborg.
It's funny. I would write that in my journal, but I have no idea where it is at this moment.
Is this it? Cyborgize. There's no NA. Cyberhuman. Opium.
That's probably just as good. Cyborgize?
Cyborgize. Opium. Cyborgize?
I think I have a subscription to that site. Cyborgize?
Clusters, host, node, master, data, client. Very informative, thank you. What the fuck is this?
You're going to get a virus, I can already tell.
This is on GitHub, man. There aren't any viruses on GitHub. Surely. Clone or download. Let's download it. Let's see what happened. No, I'm not going to download it.
No, you're
I ain't
drunk.
downloading this shit.
No downloading software while you're drunk.
Columbus Collaboratory Cognizer. What the fuck?
That actually sounds awesome. That
This
sounds
is
like the
probably
sort of thing
better.
I'd like.
This is going to be better than Cyborganize.
What's it called again?
Columbus Collaboratory Cognizer. Update
I like
arguments and defaults for speech to text API. Okay, I have to admit I have no clue what's going on here.
I don't know about the first part, but I know speech to text and I know API.
Okay, apparently it somehow works with IBM Watson to do something.
Oh no. It's the AI. Don't click on it, it's going to take your soul. That's the mark of the beast right there.
Did you see that picture I sent you? There's this SJW, this horrible one, whose moniker is Cyborganized. You saw that picture,
Yeah,
right?
I saw that one.
That's pretty funny.
That's the chick.
And her profile picture says white male tears.
Yep.
Yeah, that.
I found it.
Oh wait, holy crap! There's the Cyborganized Twitter. It hasn't tweeted since the 13th of February 2013, but I suppose this is the Cyborganized.org. Oh shit! It's not loading. Fuck. I guess Cyborganized.org stopped being paid for a while ago. Yeah, it's not loading.
You're just gonna have to wait and get it at the same time as the rest of us. Now, if you were a true Melandoon like myself, you would already have it, and you'd already be bored of it.
Yeah.
And it's not like you need it. You have people for that. But I'm just saying, like, it's good to have your fingers in new things.
Going from this Twitter, he's been working on Cyborganized since at least the 15th of November 2011. Unless this is a different Cyborganized. But it seems to be, because it's called Cyborganized is the ultimate personal info management and productivity system. Which sounds like it. It sounds like the thing.
It was a lot less concentrated back then. Because if you remember 2011, he would have been still into the pickup artistry and the intergame stuff, right? That was originally the Quantic Soul thing. Oh shit! But we can't gossip on podcast. You were telling me that earlier.
Right. We can't gossip even though I'm drunk. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything against him. Honestly, I don't really have anything. I'll say this: if you're listening to this, I don't even have anything against you. You said some mean shit to me when I was being autistic and being mean and making bad comments, and then it just blew up into all this crap just because I don't, I guess I don't not reciprocate meanness just because that's the way I am. But I really should hate you, but I actually don't. So anyway, I just want you to know that we're still not going to talk because it's just not smart. But there you go. So if you actually hear this, there you go. Oh, I have to cut out his name. Fuck. Can you send shit? I'll have to send. I'm gonna put a note in the chat. Cut out name of blank on podcast just so I remember. I always listen to the whole thing while editing, but that's just double insurance because I don't want to dox someone. Yeah, not doxing anyone is 3 out of 5 out of 10 important.
That sounds like a meme that I don't know. I have completely lost touch.
I have memes within my family, so that's not actually a meme because I make these jokes about starting a coffee company, and I say I'm 50% of 15% of the profits go to helping the red hill darter snail, shit like that.
Yeah, I get you. We have some memes in our family, although not that good. We just have an invisible butler, which if you want somebody to take your plate or something, then you just ask them. You call them Jarvis.
So and
they have to do it.
You just throw the plates out the window.
Right, because nobody wants to be a servant. So.
Right.
And it's fine. We just buy new ones.
It's just alpha as fuck. You just like, oh, you want...
Right. And by plates, I mean beer bottles, which we don't throw out the window. We throw them straight into the ground, which is concrete. And that's just our meals. It's people throwing beer bottles at the ground after chugging them. Getting crunked. Oh, wait, that's probably not even a thing now.
No, I mean, I guess you're not crunk. I'm a little crunk.
No, I'm not crunk. I can't. Okay, I might not have had a drink in 2 weeks, but I'm not getting drunk on 2 glasses of red wine.
Get drunk on damn lemon essence.
That's actually a pretty good name for that. I gotta give them credit.
You know, it's literally, it's not a drink. It's literal. I got it from Pinsy Spices.
Oh wait, it's not a thing that you're supposed to drink?
No, it's
drinking lemon extract?
It's literally lemon extract. It's not a drink. I've just been drinking it because I'm some kind of fucked up in the head. I don't know. It tastes good. Just like vanilla tastes good. You ever drink vanilla?
I don't think I have ever.
It's good.
I've smelled it.
I think it's good. I'm going to send you a picture.
I used to make lots of cookies. I was training to be a trad wife. But then, I got based and red pilled. I actually used to make pretty good cookies.
Oh.
But then I learned how to make nothing except meat.
Hamburger.
Which was one of the better decisions I ever made, was just to start eating a ton of meat. Cured, like, everything. I mentioned, so Artis did a post a while back, or like last week or something, saying like Tourette's is correlated strongly with transgenderism, and it also gets cured. Like, both of them get cured by such and such drug. I have a proper diagnosis of Tourette's because I used to do this thing with my eye. But I also have a couple of weird things, like something called Raynaud's, where you just, like, all the blood drains out of one of your fingers or something because either it's cold or you apply some pressure to it, and the blood vessels spasm. Both problems completely gone when I started eating a pound of meat a day. Like, 100% not a problem anymore. My hands get cold sometimes, and that's about all I got left over from that. I don't know how exactly that fixed it, but it's curious. That solved a lot of problems for me, eating a ton of meat.
I mean, I believe it. That's not even a pound of meat. I mean, that's 80 grams of protein. A pound of beef is 80 grams of protein.
Mm-hmm. I think it was mostly the fat, to be honest with you. Because I have not had the same sorts of results from eating a ton of chicken or a ton of eggs or something.
It could be a lot of things. There's the B12, there's the zinc, there's these other things in the red meat. Oh, I'll very quickly say it's so important, and I need to get in good shape, just because my veins are so deep. Nobody can get fucking blood out of me. God, I just want to drink blood, but
we need to get you some Rothschild Opus X. It's got the blood in there, the baby blood.
I mean, I don't want to be creepy, but I keep going around to these blood mobiles, and I just keep asking them on the down low, how much would it cost for just, I don't care what type, just like some blood, I just want some.
Well, you don't do the blood mobiles, you Red Cross, the donations.
They'll sell me blood?
Well, it's not really a sale, like you have an understanding.
Okay. Well, I'll get my... And
not the low-level workers, like they think they're doing good.
I'll have to talk to the former head of maybe he'll tell me how to get some fucking blood finally.
You might have to cut that part out because you might dox yourself.
Oh shit, you're right. Fuck. Shit. Okay. Yeah. I don't know who'd go through all the trouble, but yeah, you're right. I'll have to cut that out too. I'll remember. I'll just listen to this whole thing. I've already got enough little mental notes that, hey, there's been some things said in this podcast you need to cut out, you fucker. There was a point. There was a point before all this blood shit. Oh yeah, you need to get rid of some of your blood. You need to bleed a little.
Wait, you're talking about bleeding?
Oh yeah, you need to. I was going to get I got leeches. They arrived in the mail. They fucking died. So, fuck.
This is for serious?
Yeah, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. You
Something
need
to do with like iron removal.
You need to get rid of your blood. Don't drink it. I know you're tempted to drink it.
Should I send it to you?
Send me your blood. Oh, that's too melon boom. You send me your fucking blood.
It's got too much iron in it. You need it. I'll dispose of it safely.
I'll burn it, I swear. I gotta get rid of the HIV that's in all of you Neanderthals' blood.
I'm just gonna pour it down this altar.
I'm gonna sacrifice it so I can buy a couple more luxury condos.
Oh, that's what you do, and then you know what? Like luxury condos, that's where you get the margins.
Oh hell yeah! Get that.
No troubles.
We're gonna rent them for every it's gonna be $100,000 per what the fuck? What am I saying? Oh, it's gonna be $1,000 per every $100,000 net worth, and so $2,000 a month. It's pretty good. It'll be paid off in about 15 years.
Speaking of, Wizard King said he wants to talk to you about that stuff again.
Okay. Well, it's interesting. I should maybe talk to you after the podcast about what's actually been going on with me, and that's something.
Oh yeah, because we got it. We did talk about that last week or 2 weeks ago, so we should catch up on the details.
But I was actually serious. You do need to get rid of your blood. You need to give it to me. You need to go. You need to get rid of some of your blood because the iron is actually bad for you. Like having all the damn iron. So you need to get rid of a little bit of it. So I don't know, like once or twice a year, you need to be in good enough shape to actually go and give a couple pints of blood to the Rothschilds okay, seriously though, you need to get rid of some of the blood because like eating all this red meat, especially if you're eating it with like vitamin C and all these things, it's going to like the iron absorption is just through the roof. And it's a factor in Alzheimer's and other things because it is ultimately a heavy metal, and heavy metals aren't so good for your nervous system if they get deposited in them. So that's an actual piece of real advice.
Hang on, Mercury gave me superpowers though.
Mercury?
Yeah, with the Mercury from the vaccines gave me the ability to analyze My Little Pony at a level that they just don't understand my creativity.
Well, I've never shot up Mercury. You could try that. Maybe it'll make it better. Maybe the more Mercury you have, the better My Little Pony analysis you can have.
Okay. So I think we've finally figured out the way we're going to actually do the hedonism cult.
Oh, no.
You shoot up Mercury, and then you send your blood.
I'll take honestly, no joke, I really do like the taste of blood. It's pretty cool.
I have heard the blood sausage is good, but I've never had it. And I know that I like my steaks with some blood in them.
Yeah. There was a month where I actually ate nothing but raw meat.
I didn't know you did it for a month.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Nothing but?
I'd freeze it for... Okay, not nothing but like when I ate meat, it was raw meat. Or this is kind of sacrilegious, but what I do is I take steak and I burn it on both sides. Not burn it, but like sear it, and then I'd cut off the seared part and just eat the middle part.
Okay, so just get the temperature up a little bit.
Yeah, just kill the bacteria on the outside. So that was something I did because I couldn't let everything wait for the 2 weeks. That's what the sushi restaurants do, is they wait 2 weeks because it'll kill all the bacteria if it's frozen.
So I was wondering before whether the blood post would be more of a fight failure post or an ataraxia radius post.
That would be an ataraxia radius post.
I think we're getting into ataraxia territory.
I'm gonna write that right now. It's just gonna be a really short shit post. But send me your blood. That's a good post.
It has too much iron in it. Well, hang on. What if I want heavy metal in my blood?
It is pretty metal to have metal in your blood. Send me your blood. God, if anyone ever finds out like who I am in writing this is gonna be fucking.
Tell them that you're a Kaczynskian monarchist and they're too over-socialized. So they're an NPC and they just don't understand our art. Tell them they don't have an inner monologue.
You fucking NPC, you don't need that blood. What have you ever done with it?
That's a great question. What have you ever done with your blood? Now that's a pickup line right there.
Is blood privilege a real thing?
It is if you have A+ blood like I do. Highest grades. I have Asian blood.
Is RH negative blood better than RH positive blood? This is a deep
I've heard
question.
a lot of people say that, and
I have no reason to believe them.
What? All right, explain yourself. First of all, I'm Reese's positive, so obviously that's semester race, but...
Well, it's just from that damn Rothschild thread.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's some other... I'm sure there's probably something else that comes from. But I don't know what it is. And, I mean, fuck. Like, RH factor is not exactly... I mean, it's similar to the rhesus monkey thing, but...
Oh, hang on. That's what I'm probably talking about. The minor surplus thing?
Yeah.
That's not the same as Reese's?
It's not the same. It's similar. You say, oh, they're similar, so that means...
Oh, so I can still be Reese's negative master race? I just don't know?
No, I'm confused. I'm a little too drunk to... my point is that I don't give a fuck. If you're Reese's positive or Reese's negative, you're still a faggot.
I feel like there was a conspiracy theory back in the day that Vlad the Impaler had an iron deficiency, and that's where the Dracula shit comes from.
No comment. I don't know. There's a saying, anemic and sweet. If he had an iron deficiency, why wasn't he sweet? He should have been sweet. Don't you want to be sweet? Don't you want to be anemic and sweet? That's a good line. Am I descending into actual mental illness? It's hard to tell. I was thinking earlier today, I actually wanted to do a phrenology forecast part 4. And I was thinking, like, all this super high dopamine stuff. I was like, people are going to think I'm actually mentally ill. And I was like, that might be fun. It might be fun for people to think I'm actually crazy for a while.
And I can't exactly say, because I can never tell what people think about my mental health. Generally, I actually can. I take that back. Because I'm told that even in terms of eccentricity, I'm not actually that bad. Oh, did I lose you?
No, I was thinking. It's, you're willing to talk about almost anything. Like fuck, some of the weird ass shit, but just the natural entropy of the conversation is not incredibly weird.
Okay, so we're talking
about drinking blood. That's not that weird, to be honest. I mean, we could go much, much weirder.
I was going to give a game tip earlier, though, which similar to drinking blood. I was going to say a great line is, if there's anything I win at, it's everything all the time. That one's fun. Or just talking that way in general. This is getting a lot longer than Send Me Your Blood.
I was writing this, so I'm listening. I don't know what's going on, though. It was like, yeah, give me your blood.
Getting into character. I kind of don't want to stop you. I'm curious what your findings have been in your... Are you cool to stop for a minute?
Yeah, sure. I'm done. I already wrote the 3-sentence shit post.
What have been your findings in the Orson Welles study, seeing as he and you look exactly the same, and he's kind of like... And I feel like he's like the fully actualized version of what you could be on account of how similar you guys are.
Well, he's sort of naturally liberal because of his mother, but at the same time, he's not like a dumbass. That's quite obvious.
No.
And by modern standards, is a conservative, basically. In most things.
Okay.
But still, that's because his mother insisted that he. Well, she was big on the civic responsibility, liberal crap, and whatever to that. And there's some good.
Ford was big on social justice.
Yeah, well, there's some good parts of that in Orson. He's right to. Or there was. I mean, he's dead now, so I got talked about him in the past sense. But she always insisted that he had something interesting to say, and that he did it in a eloquent and well put way. So that's why he has that quality.
That is interesting.
And then his father's the complete opposite. His father was just an inventor who made millions of dollars and basically spiraled into hedonism and alcoholism. And brought his son along throughout all of Europe. And so Orson was taking care of his father when he was like 10 because his father was drunk all the time. And
so there's actually quite a bit of Mr. Wells in Citizen Kane.
I have Citizen Kane now, so there's no excuse for me having not seen it. Yeah, I know. I wrote a whole damn paper on it. I haven't even seen the damn fucking thing. That's Melon Boone for you. Give me your blood. If I have your blood, I can write more. I'll stop.
That's a good showstopper for any situation. Somebody disagrees with you on Twitter. Yeah, well, give me your blood.
Well, how many people do you have sending their blood to you? Huh?
Probably none.
I have 10. 10 people sent me their blood yesterday. You fucking peasant.
You probably have to go out and get your blood. I don't even know where you buy it.
I don't even know what level of shitpost or what even this is. Like, what planet are we on?
It's like when they asked, what was it, George Bush, the elder, like, how much is a gallon of milk? It's like, I could ask any peasant, like, how much is a pint of blood? I don't know.
$20?
Probably. Like,
it probably is about what it's worth. What it should be worth. I mean, it's just blood. Jesus Christ, doesn't everybody bathe in it? Like,
for occasions, solar eclipses.
That would be
equinoxes.
That actually has a nice ring to it. Like, I might actually do that if somebody gave me a giant tanker full of blood. I might bathe in it during a solar eclipse.
I think
and play that Bail It tune.
We would actually stop being friends if you did that.
Okay, I won't bathe in the blood, but you play that Bail It tune from Berserk. Do 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 do.
Yeah, that is a really nice song.
And the blood comes coming out of the faucet. Do 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 do. Okay, we probably need a new topic. Yeah.
What, you think we've talked about blood too much?
Yeah, we've talked about blood a bit.
There's a blood moon.
Yeah. Oh, I was up early enough, 3 o'clock, to see the full moon, and it was cool enough. It was a wolf moon, a giant full moon. I did not see it as the blood moon, though.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
I have seen that before by accident. It's pretty neat. Like, I was just out for a run one night, and I remember, like, spontaneously thinking poetry in my head. So that was pretty cool. And I'm not usually poetically inclined by any sense. In any sense. I think my mental caliber does not go high enough for that sort of thing.
Poetry? I have to admit, I've never appreciated poetry.
Yeah, that's the thing. I haven't either. Like, I've read poetry. I read the entire Aeneid, which that's an epic poem from Virgil. And
that's a bit different, though, really.
Well, yeah, for one, it's translated, so you can't get the rhythm of the thing. But
it's a story.
I can't slow down enough to appreciate it, is what it is. And I think that people who don't need to slow down to appreciate it probably enjoy it a lot more than I do.
Right.
Because they just get into it quicker.
I'll admit, there's been some poems I've liked. I like the that famous Robert Frost one, talking about committing suicide in the snow. I thought that was a nice. I can't remember what it's called. That was a nice poem, nice sweet poem.
The only one I've ever liked was The Raven.
That's a good poem too. So I won't say I hate poems. It's just there are things a lot better than poems.
How dare you? We're posh now.
No, well, ancient Mesopotamian artifact scrolls. That's status.
Okay. Yeah, I read the Epic of Gilgamesh too, but I don't think that it had all the stuff in there that text talks about. So I don't know how that works. I've heard that it's hard to translate because you only get like every 10th word or something.
Text or the book?
The book. But what do I know about that? Basically nothing.
We gotta get the owl melons. I'm looking on your blog, and then I'm still drinking, by the way. So there's your blog, and there's this thread. That's not a thread, so I sent you all this shit so we can talk about stuff on your blog.
Right.
We could do the deep dive on Gen Z. Well, you've already done a deep dive on Gen Z. Everybody's already Mick freaked out. Everybody already realizes the Mick truth. Why does MM keep saying Mick in front of everything?
I was just going to ask that, but and Coulter. Trump proposes amnesty. We voted for Trump and got Jeb.
Yeah.
That's high energy tweeting right there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And Coulter for president. That's what I think.
Yeah, except women can't work, so.
Oh, that's a good point.
She said
she's an honorable man, though. I decreed it.
Yeah, I stole that from her. She said that last night on Bill Maher. She said, "Why don't you run for president?" And she said, "Well, I don't believe in women working." and the whole crowd booed.
Based Anne. Oh. I should wife that girl up.
Yeah, I guess there's no comment to make to that, but she's good in some ways, and yeah, I listen to Ann Coulter. She's okay.
Do you want to talk about the maximum pleasure thing? I feel like you wanted to get into that.
Oh, we're gonna talk extremes. About maximum pleasure now.
The extremes of sensual indulgence and self-mortification, hedonism and asceticism. Both of them are bad. Is there anything else to say?
Tender, juicy chicken.
Anorexia?
Tender, juicy chicken cheese, double down dog. So the double down dog it's an amazing product from Pure Foods. It's tender and juicy. It's a hot dog wrapped in a fried chicken bun. Anyway, that's the symbol of hedonism. So you don't need that shit. It doesn't even taste good.
I didn't realize that you were posting this much on your blog. I just went over there and I'm seeing like 5 posts that I didn't know were on here. Did you send me all of these and then I don't know. I'm shit at follow-up? Okay,
for the people listening to this, how to live your life during the end of the world is actually important and actually really good. On addiction is actually good and really good. Have we talked about iterated embryo selection? We talked about it last week or the week before last. That's important.
Yeah, but we've never done like podcast time, but we talked about it pretty extensively in terms of like what it means, how it's done.
Right. I can say it really quickly because I think people need to know about it. All right, so rant time. Iterated embryo selection is basically you take gametes from people, and then you revert them into germline cells that produce more gametes. So you take these gametes, you pair them with other gametes you have, and then you genetically sequence all the offspring, the hundreds of these things, right? And then you determine, which ones are the best. And so you take the best ones and then you do the same thing. You revert them back to germline cells, and then you have them make hundreds more gametes, and then you compare them off and do all this other stuff and sequence the best ones. And you keep doing this over and over. And obviously if you started with 180 IQ people, right, doing this, the increases are just going to be enormous. It's just going to be ridiculous. The trait increases. So the whole point is that this idea of using CRISPR, which is a gene editing technology based on the Cas9 gene of certain it's not bacteria. It's bacteria. It's a gene that stops bacteriophages from killing certain bacteria, basically, is what Cas9 does. But anyway, you can put a gene sequence in Cas9, and it will cut that sequence out. So that's basically the technology. But this idea that CRISPR, which is it's just an enzyme from bacteria. People love to talk about this new revolutionary technology. It's just a fucking from a bacteria. It's not going to be capable of, everybody thinks that's going to be the thing, right? That they're going to use CRISPR to make superhumans. No, it's going to be this iterated embryo selection, or it's going to be, even in the future, complete genomic, basically making a genome from scratch, because you'll be able to just do insane things. And I've said before, and I'll probably say it again in a future podcast, that really at some point people are going to realize that biological brains are the most effective way of making an artificial intelligence, and they're just going to do that, because that's the way to really do it.
Yeah, I kind of do know that, because something that I've never said but I've thought many times is that if biological brains had clear ideas about things, they'd be computers, and computers are retarded.
Right.
Biological brains are way better.
Yeah, but just to be clear, biological brains are not computers. So that's just an analogy. It's overused. It's basic bitch. But I do believe you could make a biological computer, and certainly, if you're having one for the purpose of artificial intelligence explicitly and not just computation, then a biologically based brain is very much advantageous.
This is sort of easy to prove by example, because all those image recognition services, they always end up being the mechanical Turk. They just send it off to Indians in cubicles, so they identify the images for you at 50 cents an hour. It's if that's your baseline for an ordinary biological human brain, then it's already really good. And you don't need any kind of CRISPR or iterated embryo selection to make that happen.
Right, yeah.
So if you improve upon that baseline, then you would have to do quite a bit. Moore's law would have to extend a bit more than I think is plausible, in my uneducated opinion.
Yeah.
In order to catch up with that start. Well, that's a big head start.
There's the entire possibility of the microtubules inside the neurons. So here's the thing. You have all the people, going after AI, building these neural networks, and they're not factoring in the dozens of different neurotransmitters. The fact that glial cells, which aren't neurons, do play a role in cognition, and they certainly, they're important. You have trillions of these other fucking cells in your brain that aren't neurons, but that aid in other ways. That they're not factoring that in. But the biggest thing is what's going on inside the neuron itself, especially in the pyramidal cells, which appear to have a role in consciousness. And one of the hallmarks of the pyramidal cells is that they have very unique structures of what are known as microtubules. And of course, microtubules in the form of kinetochores are crucial for mitosis and cell division and all that. But they also seem to be able to store information. And if you're storing, information in microtubules inside the cells of neurons, then immediately that means that the computing power goes up by a factor of 100 or something just from that, right? And not even factoring in
we've got factoring in the glial cells even.
The glial cells, the dozens of different neurotransmitters. It's just insanely complicated. So no, don't get me wrong, AI is going to be dangerous. It's going to be able to wipe out millions of jobs. It's not a joke. And it might even be able to have what you would call intelligence, but to say that it's going to replicate a human intelligence, no. Not for a very, very long time. And one last thing, I'm ranting, I know, but one last thing on it is that the human brain is changing over time. You have to know exactly how it's changing to be able to make the damn AI. So it's not enough just to literally, map the entire fucking brain. You have to map it and see how the entire brain changes over time. Which basically
you have to take a snapshot at every couple of milliseconds kind of thing.
Yeah, which almost sounds impossible. Like, what? How do you even do that?
Well, it can be done, with the imaging type of stuff. But who knows what kind of resolution you have on those things. The problem at that point, I think, becomes the computing power necessary to turn that into useful information in terms of, simulating the brain.
Yeah, but anyway.
So this all raises the question: why not just drink Talforce?
Why not just you hit your crystal meth bong, you take some Talforce, you send me your blood, and you see now your life's on track, buddy. Did you read Guto yet? Okay, I shouldn't make fun of Guto. Guto's actually it's helpful. It's not on the blog anymore. I wanted to revamp it. I don't have time now. But the 50 greatest lessons from Guto is still on Fight Failure. And I think that's really good. I read that generally once a week. I should read it every day because that's just amazingly dense, good information. I'll send you the link.
It wouldn't be impossible to memorize. But okay, that's getting off track here. The important thing is biological brains of Neanderthals grown in a jar and doused in bleach. If you want to be like Tex Arcane, and we all do, then I suppose the question is, can you fit all that information on a floppy?
My dick? What are you talking about?
I think we're getting off into the weeds.
We're smoking weed now?
I kind of wish. I'm tired and it's 7:30. See, this is how you know I'm actually a 30-year-old boomer, is I'm looking at the clock thinking, can I go to bed? No, it's too early. This is what you get when you don't drink alcohol and then you have 2 glasses of wine.
What would the kids think of you going to bed at 7:30? 70's the new 30. You can go to bed now.
Hang on, I got to plug in my phone. It's about to die and then I lose internet. I like that. 30's the new 70.
Oh, wait. That makes more sense, though. That's sort of how it actually is. And
14 is the new 88.
Oh. Ooh. But people do seem to be aging spiritually faster than anyone could have ever thought possible.
That part I agree with, but I don't see that that's a good thing, especially on account of they're still coming out infantile.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's not because if you talk fast life history, slow life history, the worst possible thing is when people are growing up fast and then they're ending at a pretty, I don't want to say retarded point because that's not technically correct. Just a low threshold, I suppose. A low potential point, which I don't think is actually correct on account of. This is something I've spurred on before. I don't think people are a third people my age, for example, are a third the men that their grandfathers were on account of the third testosterone, like genetically. I don't think you lose that much in that amount of time. I can only imagine how it is for people that are going to be, born today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that is a fully genetic loss. I figure you're looking at about a third of that is genetic, and that's maybe even being pessimistic. I'm pessimistic about the IQ losses, but those are a lot more G-loaded. But I think
yeah, but we're gonna have iterated embryo selection theory, or what?
I think if it's a race between innovation and dysgenics, then just dysgenics is going to win.
It's going to be like it always ends up being. You're going to have a class of people who have everything, and everyone else is going to be dirt poor as fuck. It's just how it ends up.
That's the way it's going.
And that's how it is in every fucking society. So, I don't know if I won't say anything. I won't codify anything I've been thinking.
All right, can I just complain that there's a woman outside my window who's been telling her dog over and over for about 5 minutes now to go potty?
Go potty.
Just like that.
Go potty.
5 minutes.
Go potty.
I don't know how to handle that kind of thing.
Go potty.
I hope she's talking to her dog, because otherwise that's going to be a weird situation.
Talking to her 4-year-old. Go potty. We're outside of the weird man's house. Go potty in his bushes. Go potty. What the fuck? I
don't know. I can do with that though.
Okay, the recording stopped for literally like 5 seconds, so we're back. So okay. I guess they just didn't get to hear me say go potty another 4 times.
Yeah. That was probably the best part of the podcast. We just lost there.
This is the Go Potty podcast.
It was, like, as you were saying that, I spoke in code and told the secrets. Oh, we aren't even supposed to talk about that.
We have secrets? I'm supposed to know secrets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 33rd degree tobacco cult secrets.
God, I wish the tobacco cult was a real thing. It's just, I can't stop. I can't stop tobacco. Maybe I'll just have to get nicotine patches or something. And just like not wear them to quit, but just wear them to wear them.
Well, it would treat depression.
Treat everything. Got tobacco.
I feel like
tobacco's good.
Bone Flower and I came up with a good cult. We recorded a podcast on Sunday, and I can't even remember what the cult was. Oh, it was the normal people cult, the relatively normal. Because that's how you have to do something nowadays, like that.
No shit.
It has to be, because everything has to be revolutionary, right? That's been the lesson of the eternal revolution of the social Marxists and so forth. I'm actually getting tired. I think I need to quit.
You need to quit?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We're going to unceremoniously end the podcast and send me your blood. So, good night, faggots.